In this video, we're breaking down the most heated games of Caitlin Clark's WNBA career. Games where the tension kept rising until it finally snapped. From trash talk to full-on clotheslines, this was starting to look more like the WWE than the WNBA. And it all begins with the first time she ran into a Chicago team that wasn't hiding the jealousy.
I mean, that's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy Carter.
This was the first time the WNBA got truly physical with Caitlin Clark, and it all started against a familiar face, her college rival, Angel Reese. Their first meeting on the big stage had all eyes watching, and Chicago couldn't wait to make their presence felt, setting off a domino effect through the league. But the game didn't start that way. Caitlin Clark came out firing.
Great points. Clark connects on a deep three.
And it wasn't just her shooting. Clark was finding her teammates too.
To the Commissioner's Cup final. What a dish. Down the floor. Wallace. The finish plus the foul. On a beautiful delivery from Clark.
The Chicago bench was in awe, and the first quarter had her name written all over it.
Understand their impact and what it has done and how they are living out their dreams today.
And right on cue, Clark connects on another bomb. 2 for 2 from 3. In the early.
But after building up a little deficit, not everyone on Chicago's side was sharing the same excitement. So, in true Caitlin fashion, she decided to turn it up even more in the second.
They've allowed too much dribble penetration.
Well, and it allows them, oh, what a dime. My goodness, the pass from Clark to Katie Lou Samuelson for 2. But Rebecca, that's what allows them to...
For Indiana, it was just another game, but for Chicago, it seemed to mean something more. But when things weren't going their way, frustration started to set in. Kennedy Carter, in particular, Chicago's point guard, had no answer defensively.
Gonna have to make something happen. Clark through the lane, reverses it in, and beats the shot clock.
And on offense, she was getting sloppy.
Carter the rebound. Mabry running, can't get to it, and Chicago turns it over.
Frustration kept building, and with Indiana taking control again in the second.
It out to Mitchell. Mitchell long 2 is good.
Chicago was starting to feel the game slipping away, but when the third quarter rolled around, the mood on the court seemed to shift. Chicago came out with a new game plan, doubling Caitlin Clark early, and showing the first signs that they weren't afraid getting handsy. However, Caitlin kept playing her game, even when her own teammates made things a bit tricky at times.
Yes.
Nice entry, and Wallace again blows the layup. The follow is good, though.
But when Caitlin decided to take it to the rim on her own, Dana Evans was right there, refusing to give an inch.
Here's Carter, Evans guarding Clark, and Evans sends Clark to the deck. Foul called on Dana Evans.
On the very next play, Chicago struck again. This time, it was Cardoso.
Chicago had missed their first 8 attempts. Clark races in, is fouled by Cardoso, and Clark gets a pain. Caitlin Clark goes down.
This blow forced Caitlin to take a brief break on the bench. Meanwhile, Cardoso kept playing as reckless as ever, hitting backboard and hacking away on D. This wouldn't break the fever. They held on to a 51-47 lead, and with just a minute left in the quarter, Caitlin returned to the court. Kennedy Carter tried to make a quick pass, but it was sloppy. Caitlin pounced, intercepting it with ease. Frustrated by the turnover, Carter chased her down and physically forced the ball back from Clark, but the refs let it slide, and Caitlin was left looking for a whistle that never came. The play continued as Indiana kept possession. Boston found herself under the rim, but her shot clanged off the iron. She even got the putback, but that also missed. Unbelievably, even the third follow-up still didn't go in. This time, 2 Chicago defenders went up, fighting each other for the rebound, leaving the ball momentarily loose. Caitlin saw her chance and swiped it right out of their hands, tapping it back to Boston.
This time, it's good. Boston.
Carter was visibly frustrated, and Caitlin, never one to shy away from the mental game, had a few choice words for her, poking the bear. On the very next play, Carter was out for blood. With just a few seconds left on the clock, she pulled up for a smooth mid-range and drained it, turning to Caitlin. But Carter didn't stop there.
Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench, and Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy Carter.
The wild part? The refs didn't call more than a simple off-the-ball foul, barely acknowledging Carter's shove. Once again, she got away with it. Look at Angel Reese, celebrating like it's a game-winning moment. It's sad when you think that's something to be proud of. It makes you wonder, was this the new standard teams would set when facing Caitlyn? Were they seeing just how far they could push the physical play against her, knowing the refs might let it slide?
Did you get any type of understanding from the officials on how you guys are doing that at this point?
Yeah, that's just not a basketball play.
Luckily, Caitlyn stayed above it all, sticking to her game plan and letting her skills speak louder than any shove or foul, even as her teammates struggled to keep up at times.
And that was 2011.
Alyssa Smith stops and misses the ball.
The Fever stuck to their game plan, moving the ball, creating good looks, and playing smart basketball.
Clark, another rebound, tosses ahead, Wheeler extra feed. Oh, that was pretty. What's the foul?
Meanwhile, the Sky seemed to abandon any kind of finesse, leaning fully into their physical play, almost hoping that brute force would be enough to turn things around. And sometimes they were getting away with it too.
The three takes the two and knocks it down. A lot of contact from Reese on.
In the end, none of the physical play, missed calls, or tension mattered. Only the win did. But with Alyssa Smith almost throwing the game, it was a close call.
Through, Mabry down two. Mabry loses the handle and a foul is called. A foul is called on Smith and free throws here for the Sky. Number 5 on Smith as she dove to the floor.
And that's how it went down. The Fever got the win, and the Sky set off something toxic in the league. And when she faced the Connecticut Sun, you could already feel it in the air.
4 assists, 5-point game. Ty Harris, offensive foul. It's on Alyssa Thomas.
And right from the start, Indiana's young gun came out swinging. But the first effort were met with tough love. Each drive to the basket felt like a battle, and Caitlyn got jumped early.
Figure out who was going to be that person to bring that spark for me off the bench as Carrington picks Clark's pocket right there.
But just when things seemed dire for Indiana, 22 decided it was time for a rescue mission.
Time and space, and that's the key word I think for Clark is the space and the pace. Drills it to make it a 1-point game. First 3 of the night for Caitlyn Clark.
And she put some serious power into those drives, forcing her way through the defense and drawing fouls in the process.
Just something that she's done a great job of so far.
A phrase she often uses as activity.
Caitlyn cranked up her playmaking wizardry, threading passes through tight spaces. But her teammates didn't fully believe in the magic she was weaving.
Points. Pick. Roll. Boston. Blocked by Bonner. Dejanay.
What? They're showing out right now.
Up and down we go.
Passes that should have led to easy buckets were fumbled and opportunities slipped through their fingers. The chemistry that should have turned her genius into points was missing, and she got a taste of her own recipe on the other end.
That's true. One way to put it.
Right.
Oh, nice move by Harris. The behind the back.
Atlanta brought the score back within 2 points, closing the gap. Sensing the shift in momentum, CC tried to restore more comfort, but with her and her teammates struggling to connect, the game felt like it was teetering on a knife's edge. It was clear that this game needed a spark, and who else but Lexi Hull to light that fire.
Dangerous. It is tough when you lose that first game, but the defense there from Thomas.
Oh, and Hull made it anyway.
But Atlanta wasn't about to let the Fever enjoy that 3-point cushion just yet.
1% from 3 for Hull. Mabry answers.
Therefore, the Star had to step up. It was up to number 22 to take matters into her own hands and go back to back to back.
Just the pace and scoring in this matchup.
Clark, 3-point barrage in Indiana.
But Caitlyn Clark wasn't done yet. As she continued to work her magic, it found a believer in Lexi Hull.
Clark, scanning, kicking, Hull 3.
And then the dominoes started to fall as Aaliyah Boston decided to join the party as well.
Olympian and Alyssa Thomas just won her first Olympic gold medal.
But just as Smith looked to join the surge, the refs called her for a chicken wing.
Between these two. An offensive foul there on Alyssa Smith.
This call snuffed out that little spark of momentum, dimming the light Caitlyn Clark had ignited in her team.
Clark to Mitchell.
The offensive seemed to take the wind out of their sails, halting the Fever's rhythm and leading to rookie mistakes.
That's where her strength is going to come from.
Even in year 15, age 37, Indiana gives it away.
But luckily, as if by some stroke of fortune, a ghost seemed to block that layup. After a full-court snipe by Caitlyn, Kelsey Mitchell stepped up to show everyone how to properly finish wide opens.
Against, to get a win over a team.
And Caitlin had to let it fly after putting her defender on skates.
56, Caitlin Clark, step back, three is cash.
But this was answered right away by her match rival, Carrington.
Room for, and that's one of them, but
Caitlin took this challenge to heart, locking eyes with Carrington and going right at her with a burst of speed.
Getting out there on an island, and she makes Indiana pay for it.
The Dream felt Caitlin's unmatched presence dominating the court and knew they had to do something drastic to slow her down. So they resorted to setting up a screen from hell.
4 assists, 5-point game. Ty Harris, offensive foul. It's on Alyssa Thomas. That's her third.
But whatever broke her only made her stronger. There was no stopping Caitlin's facilitating, even as her teammates didn't.
2 months, thank Benlay.
So she knew she had to take matters into her own hands yet again.
Welcome to the party, Marina. We missed you.
Clark splits 2.
However, the Dream wouldn't let that slide, with Carrington jumping in to challenge her yet again.
There for a second. Clark has it back with 10 seconds. Carrington dives on the deck, and they get into it in the corner. Dejanay Carrington and Caitlin Clark.
But whatever challenge they threw at her, Caitlin bounced right back.
The left hand. Run out.
And when her teammates started to pick up behind her, you knew this game was over.
8 of them. Clark flips it to Boston. Nelson Adota, UConn against South.
With the score tied and the tension at its peak, Kelsey Mitchell stepped up to break the deadlock.
Lockdown defender at Northwestern. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Mitchell, not gonna happen. Offensive.
But the refs spoiled the moment, calling an illegal screen that wiped out Kelsey Mitchell's clutchness. It was clear that the team needed someone to step up once more. That someone was number 22, Caitlin Clark.
90 seconds left. Caitlin Clark goes by Burton. Caitlin Clark gives Indiana the lead.
This would seal the deal for the Fever and cap off another historic night for Caitlin Clark. But it left a stain in the Suns' mind, and the next time they faced Caitlin, they didn't hold back at all.
Clark hustling away.
I mean, is that displacement? I think it is.
Oh, and Marina Mabry's going to get ejected. If the officials saw that, Marina Mabry is going to get ejected.
If it wasn't clear yet, it is now. Caitlin Clark is being hunted in the WNBA, and this game against the Connecticut Sun was the clearest proof yet. But you know the saying, he who laughs last, laughs the longest.
During the game.
All right. Here is Clark, splashing home a 3 from way downtown. Some words with the Connecticut bench.
And right from the jump, Connecticut's number 4 made her mission clear. Stick to Caitlin like glue, no matter where she moved.
Tempo, and that's not just the 94 feet, that's their cadence in the quarter court as well.
Here is Clark from...
But with that came a lot of unnecessary contact and no whistles from the refs early on, setting the tone for a long, physical night.
Different team with 22 on the floor that time.
In the 7th minute, the refs finally gave her a break.
Cutting Caitlin Clark defensively.
Clark runs into traffic and gets the foul call.
And not long after, Caitlin shook off J.C. Sheldon and made them pay.
Clark launches and hits.
I wonder if J.C. Sheldon in her 4 years at Ohio State has nightmares when she's thinking about going against Clark.
Those nightmares came alive again tonight, and we're still haunted by our own.
Matched up plenty in the WNBA as well. Here's Clark rolling Boston.
At this point, someone needs to throw a missed layup counter on screen for her teammates, and maybe one for how many times J.C. Sheldon was up in her grill too.
J.C. Sheldon really trying to be disruptive and physical with Clark.
This led to an early breather for Caitlin to conserve some energy, and when she checked back in later that quarter, it showed.
Here, Rivers is an impressive-looking rookie out of NC State.
And when Boston converts, Caitlin can find her all night, but easier said than done. She had a lot of trouble converting those passes, the looks were there, but the Suns' defense made every finish a war in the paint.
Here is Clark, who sees the double team, feeds inside. Boston couldn't finish.
And the refs were letting everything slide, but Caitlin wasn't. She got into it with Sheldon a little, letting her know she wasn't backing down from the physical. But the real problem of the night were the refs. By swallowing their whistles, they turned the game into more of a brawl than basketball. However, it didn't take long for Caitlin to answer the chaos the only way she knows how.
Sophie Cunningham suffered her ankle injury in that game, but in addition to that, she actually had part of her front tooth knocked out. She made contact with JC Sheldon as Caitlin Clark knocks down the
Pure basketball, and that bottled up frustration started turning into a mini run. You could just feel the shift. First, an instant inbound assist.
And keep in mind, the Fever had 17 as a team.
Then, one of those deep snipes we all know and love.
Perfecting her craft.
Retreating, firing and hitting.
So she can do that.
Already 3 for 3 from deep, but in transition, she wasn't selfish.
Oh, Clark just took it away. It's a 2-on-1. Clark, bounce pass, pretty find, and Mitchell won't miss from there.
A 6-point lead, and the Sun were back to their usual tricks. But so was Caitlin. They were so scared of her passing, she faked them out and took the open lane herself.
Pass in, it's Clark right up the middle.
At one point, she even had Sheldon scrambling on the floor and nearly cashed in the coldest 3 of the night. Momentum was shifting, but with offensive calls piling up against the Fever, halftime came just in time to cool things down. Out of halftime, Caitlin wasted no time, crossed up Sheldon, and dropped a perfect dime like she never took a break.
Clark behind the back, feed inside. 2 more for Howard.
And I guess Sheldon's ankles were feeling that one, because right after, she started getting real handsy again.
Felt like she was fouled there by Sheldon.
But no whistle. Meanwhile, on the other end, the Sun were handed one on a silver platter.
Strong offensive rebound, put back won't go. There's
no foul there.
But they gave it anyway, despite 0 contact. The crowd saw it crystal clear in 4K, and they let the refs hear it.
For the foul, but she immediately is saying there's no foul there.
This probably made the Sun feel invincible, because on the very next play, they took the Caitlin abuse to a whole new level.
Hustling away.
I mean, is that displacement? I think it is.
Oh, and Marina Mabry's going to get ejected. If the officials saw that, Marina Mabry is going to get ejected.
First, a deliberate poke in the eye, then a blatant shove in the back. It was disgraceful, but what the refs did after, even worse.
Clark has a technical, Mabry has a technical, Charles has a technical. Wow, is Mabry going to stay in this game? That's hard to believe.
Yes, you heard that right. Mabry got to stay in the game and somehow ended up with the same technical as Caitlin. And of course, she was classlessly smiling and dancing like she'd just gotten away with robbery.
If sprinting over and knocking a player to the ground in a dead ball situation doesn't get you ejected, what does it take to get ejected?
As much as I love Marina Mabry as a player, I think that was a really poor decision by her. I do think that warrants ejection.
And the crowd agreed, and they let her hear it, raining down the boos. Caitlin, luckily, bounced back fast from all that abuse, stepping to the line cool as ever.
So Clark is shooting.
She sat out the rest of the third, with the Fever holding their 12-point lead steady. But the moment she checked back in for the fourth, the physical play ramped right back up.
Hand, their left hand.
Rivers will be called for the foul on Clark.
In the fourth quarter, tied 76-76. Sabrina Ionescu leads all scorers with 31 points.
After weaving through all the body checks, she finally found her rhythm again.
Clark weaving through traffic and gets the roll.
And when Sheldon stepped back in on her, it gave her that extra motivation, and she let it out.
She never texted me during the game.
All right. Here is Clark, splashing home a 3 from way downtown.
She was jawing at the Connecticut bench and giving the crowd exactly what they came for. If you want to be like these fans and witness greatness live, don't miss out. Grab your tickets to watch Caitlin Clark in action on SeatGeek. Use code TheHooperShow for a nice little discount. Don't miss out. This would be Caitlin's final action of the night, but make no mistake, the fire she sparked kept burning long after she checked out, in the form of her teammate Sophie Cunningham, who made it clear she had Caitlin's back, going straight at Sheldon and matching their energy.
Sheldon going coast to coast. And here we got another breakers here as JC Sheldon goes right after Sophie Cunningham.
A clear foul, but by then, the refs' questionable decisions were catching up with them. What should have been a clean game, clearly dominated by the Fever, was dragged down by missed calls and unchecked physicality. And when the officials finally decided to start tossing players, the damage had already been done. Luckily, Caitlin walked away from this one without another injury, but the league has to do better. The constant hits, the no calls, the targeting, it's not just unfair, it's dangerous. However, against the Atlanta Dream, the relentless physicality never took a break.
And the shot clock. There's a lot of bumping and chippiness at half court between Ryan Howard and Caitlin Clark.
And last game,
The shot clock, Maya Caldwell had to corral it back in. Another offensive foul against Brittany Griner.
Luckily, it didn't start out that way. With Ryan Howard guarding her, Caitlin made sure to set the tone early, getting the first bucket on the board.
In the paint. Atlanta coming off of back-to-back games, scoring 90-plus points, and Caitlin Clark.
But that didn't stop Howard. She came right back with a bucket of her own.
veteran in this league, she knows how to play around the rim.
Ryan Howard.
And it didn't take long for Howard to get in favor with the refs.
So she's used to it,
I would say.
Even with that, she switched gears and put her team to work.
What kind of responsibility do you know that you have as you're shaping the culture that we're seeing here in today's game?
I mean, honestly.
But her team wasn't on the same flow just yet.
Clark got the switch with Bree Jones on her, sends it to the corner. Sophie Cunningham comes in and out three.
But on defense, Howard was getting a little too handsy, and it wasn't just one possession. It happened back to back.
Difference between the game and the shot clock. There's a lot of bumping and chippiness at half court between Ryan Howard and Caitlin Clark.
It was clear Caitlin was getting fed up, and Howard, she took the challenge head on, but so did Caitlin.
Caitlin gets it back, tries to send it over. Cunningham gets it to go.
Caitlin was locked in, ready to take control and push the Fever back into the lead.
Caitlin Clark too handsy. Without Caitlin, we know very well she likes to let it fly from the left. Pulls up baseline, good to go.
She does like that spot, but on the other end, Howard was answering right back.
They got 4 on the shot clock. Howard pulls up, triple, good. When you get Ryan Howard mad, this is what.
It was turning into a classic star-for-star duel. First Caitlin,
Space couldn't get the bucket. Here comes Caitlin Clark. It's how Caitlin.
then Howard.
and it gave you some production.
Right now, Indiana has the advantage for bench points, 15-2 as Ryan Howard.
Then Caitlin again with another dime.
Game of the season was an overtime one where she dropped 36 points.
It was a fair battle until Brittany Griner stepped in. That's when things started to get physical and dirty.
On the shot clock, Maya Caldwell had to corral it back in. Another offensive foul against Brittany Griner. That will be her 5th.
An intentional elbow the moment she saw Caitlin. Just wild, but it didn't stop Caitlin from turning up the pressure.
Clark found a lane and she'll take it.
And she was ready to take on even more. But once again, the Dream responded with physical play, trying to wear her down. At this point, it was almost comical how much they were targeting her. And yet, Caitlin still got her bucket.
On the triple. Ryan Howard, Caitlin Clark finding a way to miss.
Excellent.
Unfortunately, her team wasn't on the same page, committing sloppy fouls that gave the Dream extra chances.
Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, and Aaliyah Boston all just frustrated in this game with their shots.
It even had some fans celebrating a little too early. But all that extra contact, Caitlin saw it as an opportunity, and she took full advantage.
Back. Fever can take the lead with a 3 or tie. And Caitlin Clark draws the foul. Gray is a little bit taken back by that.
She knocked down 2 of 3 at the line, but the Dream answered right back, getting a call on the other end and taking the lead again, with just 3 minutes to go.
5 from 3 in this game. And draws the foul. Caitlin Clark now with...
Luckily, it didn't take long for Kelsey Mitchell to come through in the clutch.
Lexi Hall had 5 of their own. Big stop for Atlanta here. Kelsey lines it up. Why not?
And just as quickly, Howard got handsy again. The Dream racked up 21 fouls, and everyone who guarded Caitlin was in deep foul trouble. With 40 seconds left and a 1-point lead, Caitlin made the smart play, dumping it to Boston and letting her go to work.
In this game, stops on the dime, looking to pull up, finds Aaliyah Boston, who gets the bucket to go, still.
The Dream tried to answer quickly, but their night ended the same way it started.
Another, big foul going against Atlanta. Ryan Howard pushes off Sophie Cunningham.
Even with just 7 seconds left, the Dream were still grabbing.
Floor.
But it wasn't enough to stop the Fever. Final score, 81-76. Surprisingly, the Fever ended with 4 more fouls, despite all the contact Caitlin took. As you can see, it wasn't just opposing teams Caitlin was dealing with. Even the officiating started to feel one-sided. And against New York, everything finally boiled over. Every team wants to stop her, no matter how. But even with the refs against her, Caitlin still finds a way to make it happen.
Clark gets it. She's got time. Cloud defending. Clark trying to create some airspace. Long 3 at the horn. Oh! Caitlin Clark rising from the ashes here in the 3rd quarter. And Indiana with an 8-point lead.
But from the jump, it wasn't about her. Caitlin came out ready to facilitate and get her team going.
Thievish starting off on Caitlin Clark. New York was pretty coy about how they would defend her. Boston, the roll, the catch, and puts it in for 2.
And it wouldn't be long before she fired off another one of those full-court bullets.
Sabrina short on the jumper.
Well, you want to make Sabrina dribble into her shots if possible.
Mitchell gets behind the secondary and puts it in.
And Jordan, that's why it's so important for Caitlin Clark.
But the moment she tried to attack the basket, you could feel it. The physicality ramped up instantly.
Into the vision of Caitlin Clark early.
Clark steps on the gas, goes right by Stewart, and picks up the foul.
Early on, the refs were with her and sent her to the line, but it wasn't consistent. So Caitlin adjusted, played it smart, and leaned into her dimes instead.
Players like UNESCO and Caitlin Clark, the way that you defended your team slants, Boston galloping to the cup. The connection works again.
There's not a lot of space there.
She didn't get every call, but when she attacked the basket and the contact was too obvious to ignore.
They went through a really detailed defensive scout yesterday.
The whistle finally came.
Another and one opportunity as she goes window shopping.
She went 2 for 2 at the line, but it was clear every layup came with a price. So she switched it up again.
With those right-handed layups.
I mean, they have 9 baskets, and I have them unofficially with 7 right-handed layups.
Clark found a hole in the defense.
And with the D pressing high, Caitlin matched that energy, finding Aaliyah Boston.
Talked about doing a lot of cardio, wanted to be bulletproof, and so far, Aaliyah Boston's been bulletproof.
But even when she tried to avoid the contact, the Liberty still found her.
So the Fever gained the 1-point advantage, just under 40 seconds left here in the opening quarter. And that's going to be a foul.
Crazy enough, the whistle went against Caitlin, and not even 10 seconds later, they were physically blocking her from even getting open.
Work off balls, you mentioned, fighting through some contact. That's going to be an off-ball foul, and that'll send Caitlin Clark to the free throw line.
But after that free throw, the Fever hit a tough drought. Double teams on Caitlin, wide open missed layups,
Mitchell, the baseline catch goes high.
and suddenly, they were down 14. Luckily, Caitlin could count on Aaliyah Boston to keep the game from slipping too far out of reach.
Clark over the top, Boston.
The pass is...
Even when Caitlin couldn't get it to fall, Boston was right there, cleaning the glass.
She can score on.
Clark, no good. Boston right there to clean it up, and a timeout on the floor.
But the contact kept escalating. A 50-50 ball nearly took out Caitlin's knee in the process. It was getting rough out there.
Backside of Burke. Clark and Stewart come crashing to the floor, and that'll be New York ball. After
So Caitlin eased off and let the Boston show roll on, feeding her in the post and letting the big work.
goes over the top, Boston, the catch fading away, goes off the glass.
Really nice job of loading to the strong side and allowing.
With the deficit shrinking, this tactic was clearly working, so Caitlin kept feeding Boston in the second half.
Other players, and talks about the supporting cast around Caitlin Clark this year, that she doesn't have to shoulder the whole load. Boston, the floater, popcorns in, we've got a 2-point game.
That is the best action.
You heard that right, the lead was gone, and moments later, Caitlin found Mitchell for the bucket that tied it all up.
How defenses have to stretch so far down the court. Here's Mitchell, sets her feet, Mitchell raised in the three, and we've got a tie ball game.
The Fever had momentum on their side, and Caitlin was ready to take charge by herself.
Batted a lot, bodies on the floor. Clark 1-on-3, trying to split the defense, goes into traffic, and reverses it off the glass. Stewart driving it.
But once again, no call. So on the very next possession, Caitlin took it to another level and made sure the refs couldn't ignore her anymore.
Clark, step back three. Oh, she hit it and draws the foul. Welcome back, Caitlin Clark.
Energizes this crowd more than a Caitlin Clark step back.
Nothing energizes me more too, but nothing frustrates me more than Brianna Stewart.
Intercept goes right by Stewart, but blocked. Big time collision, and Clark is still down on the floor.
That was her second hard hit on Caitlin this game, and it felt like Brianna was on a different mission tonight. But that didn't stop Caitlin from pulling off some magic.
Bending, Clark trying to create some airspace. Long three at the horn. Oh! Caitlin Clark rising from the ashes here in the third quarter, and Indiana with an 8-point lead.
That's one way to end the third. Buzzer beater and an 8-point lead for the Fever, and Caitlin kept the momentum rolling into the fourth, first finding Boston once again to keep the pressure on.
Rolled Clark a little bit deeper into the paint on that.
It's Boston, the pump fake. Stewart goes crashing down, no whistle. Boston fighting for the ball.
And not long after, it was her turn to get going.
It's over dribble. Slices through the defense and a finish with the right.
But the Liberty clawed their way back into it, and the Fever tied it up again when Boston got hacked in the paint and earned a trip to the line. With 30 seconds left, the game was in the Fever's hands. Of course, they gave it to CC. She attacked the basket, drew the defense, and kicked it to Bonner.
Dumps it off. Bonner blocked at the top.
Bonner's shot was blocked, and off the inbound, Caitlin found Mitchell, but she missed too.
Puts it up. Mitchell, no good. Hits the rim. New York will have a chance. They call timeout.
With 8 seconds left, the Liberty had their shot, and Caitlin's instructions were clear. No fouls.
Box is out.
Cloud the catch, back to UNESCO. Sabrina turns the corner. Sabrina the bump and draws the foul with 2.9 remaining.
At first, it looked like a careless foul by Lexi Hull, but the replay told a different story. It was clear who initiated the contact. Still, the refs bought it, and the Liberty were gifted a trip to the line. They knocked down both free throws. And on the other end, Caitlin had just 4 seconds to change the outcome.
Screening action down low. Clark has to get open. 1 second left. Clark doesn't get the shot off. Cloud locks her up.
Would you believe it? Same kind of contact initiation, but this time, no call. The refs let it go. Game over.
He's unable to get a shot attempt up.
In a moment that mattered most, you'd expect the officiating to be equal, but tonight, the Liberty got a nudge in the back, while Caitlin caught an elbow. Not literally, but you get the picture. But all that contact caught up to her. Now she's out with an injury. And surprise, ratings are already dropping. But you are lucky, because when you subscribe to my channel, you'll get unlimited Caitlin Clark content. So, subscribe. This was probably one of the most intense battles Caitlin Clark faced last season. Coming off the constant bullying in the league, this was set to be Caitlin Clark's biggest challenge yet, facing off against her biggest rival, Angel Reese. And it showed more than we could have expected.
Last season. Clark, hammer. 3 Sky players coming over.
She started off hot. She blew right by Marina Mabrey, driving straight to the hoop and putting the first points on the board. Right after, the defense made an adjustment, switching Chennedy Carter onto her, a familiar face, but not in a good way. As soon as Carter locked in, Caitlin was reminded of just that.
This is a fever team that opened up 11 games in the first 20 days.
Already starting off with a foul. And on the next possession, Carter put on the pressure again, but CC found Boston who could bail her out.
Of the league. That's how good Angel Reese has been. Boston gets another touch. It blows past the Sky defense.
While Angel was throwing up bricks, Caitlin got to work. Coming off a quick screen, she found herself with just enough space to let it fly.
Find a body on Reese. Clark gets freed up.
It was set to be a fierce battle, and when they put Marina Mabrey back on Caitlin, it was clear they were trying to mix things up defensively, but it turned out to be a lesson quickly learned. It was a mismatch every time they tried to guard her, no matter who the defense threw at her, and on the other end, CC wasn't lacking either. She showed off her quick hands and forced the turnover.
Allen between the legs, lost it, it's off Allen last.
Caitlin had it locked down the clean way, but the Sky weren't playing on that level. As soon as they realized they couldn't match her finesse, they reverted to contact. It was obvious they were getting frustrated, and instead of playing smart, they were trying to slow Caitlin down by any means necessary. The physical play started to take a toll, but Caitlin wasn't backing down. She wisely reverted to avoiding contact and used her court vision to find her teammates instead.
And she post feeds Aaliyah Boston. They're building their chemistry.
Caitlin read the defense like a book, making the right plays and even using her teammates as a sort of shield.
Finds some space, goes reverse style. Her first bucket since 5:51 in the first. See how she maintained her.
She was a constant threat for the Sky, and here they had their entire team guarding her. But no matter how many defenders they threw at her, Caitlin still found a way out. And the second half was no different. In transition, Caitlin was the engine, always at the lead, pushing the tempo, and her teammates followed. But when she went at the rim, guess who came in with the hard contact again? So the next time, Caitlin was 2 steps ahead. A hard dribble to the basket, causing the defenders to collapse. But instead of finishing at the rim, she pulled back and hit them with a step-back 3. Even in transition, with an even number of defenders waiting for her, Caitlin still found a way. It didn't matter if the defense was set. She thrived in the chaos,
enabling them to run the basketball. Multiple players here touching the ball.
When the Sky crowded the lane, trying to block her path, Caitlin didn't flinch. She weaved through the defense and found a way to finish at the rim. But when Caitlin tried to drive through the defense again, this time, Angel Reese, clearly frustrated, wasn't having it.
Arc, hammer. 3 Sky players coming over. And the official is...
She let her emotions get the best of her and went full force on Caitlin, delivering a hard, unnecessary foul that left the crowd buzzing. The tension between the two had been building all game, and this moment was a clear sign of how much Caitlin was getting under Angel's skin. And right after, it was clear Reese still didn't get the message. On the very next play, she went after CC again. And after those back-to-back fouls, the Sky had no choice but to bring Reese out of the game. It felt like a relief for her. She had been the main target of all that aggression. But rather than celebrating, Caitlin stayed locked in, using this moment to reset and refocus.
That's what you're gonna see happen. The money pass.
But when the fourth quarter rolled around, Angel Reese was back on the floor, ready to start her rampage again. Luckily for the Fever, Caitlin turned up the heat just when they needed it most, and immediately turning defense into offense. Caitlin wasted no time, sending a perfect dime to Aaliyah Boston, who finished strong at the rim.
10 blocks in her WNBA career, and it ends with a Boston bucket.
It was a momentum-shifting play, with Caitlin not just dominating offensively, but also impacting the game on both sides of the floor. Her block sent a message, and the assist to Boston kept the Fever's rhythm going. This was the energy they needed to handle Angel Reese's renewed aggression, and Caitlin was leading the way, determined not to let the game slip away.
Clark pulls, fires, hits, 4-3. A leader to her left.
Caitlin built up a solid lead, and with her constant persistence, it was clear that momentum wasn't shifting anytime soon. She stayed in control, orchestrating the offense and keeping the pressure on the Sky. With just 30 seconds left, Caitlin delivered the final blow, a laser pass that threaded through the defense, finding her teammate wide open to seal the deal.
Someone forgot about Smith.
And when she shuts them up with pure performance, teams were now starting to aim at her head again.
Another one.
Into a ball screen.
Clark. Yes! A new career high for Caitlin Clark. And she's put the Fever up by 8.
In her penultimate regular season game, Caitlin ended her show, nailing a career-high 35 points and breaking the rookie single-season scoring record held by Simone Augustus since 2006. But against a team like the Dallas Wings, who were on a 7-game losing streak and already known for their bad history, this wasn't going to be a walk in the park.
Pace, nobody for Dallas gets back, and then a very late contest by Brown. And a hard foul there on Caitlin Clark.
And from the jump, the Wings continued that trend, guarding Caitlin tight from the inbound, like they were glued to her. But it didn't take long for Caitlin to leave the defender in a whirlwind.
Clark, JC a Buckeye, Caitlin a Hawkeye, two of the best players in the Big Ten last year.
Already showing exactly what to expect from this game. But as you might have seen in the last game against Dallas, 22 wasn't the only one bringing the heat. Across from her was Arike Ogunbowale. Ogunbowale. You know what? Let's just keep it with Arike.
With that three-point shot here the last couple of games. As Ogunbowale knocks down her first shot.
And this time, Arike had a partner in threes.
In the feistiness of Lexi Hall since the Olympic break.
McCowan easily wins the tip, and Sabali knocks down a...
Putting the pressure on Caitlin, but her threes were still loading up. So, in true playmaker fashion, she got her teammates involved.
They average 11 offensive rebounds a game, one of the best in the league.
Clark frees up Boston for 2 more.
But Arike started this game on a warpath, shooting at will and giving the Fever no break.
The Fever averaging right around 17,000 people in this building per game.
Luckily for the Fever, the basketball gods were on their side, giving Kelsey Mitchell a second chance.
Boston able to save the offensive rebound. Mitchell on a crossover. She will launch and bury a three.
And Mitchell is Caitlin's best hype man, getting her to ride the wave of threes.
Clark on a step back, buries a three.
But threes seemed like the name of the night, as Sabali answered right back, keeping the score tight. The first quarter had Caitlin heated, already feeling like the refs were letting Dallas get away with too much contact. But instead of letting the frustration derail her, Caitlin channeled that anger into her hot hand.
Part of the challenge that Dallas has had all year. Clark catch and shoot, and knocks down her second three.
Very well executed for Caitlin Clark.
But Caitlin's foresight turned out to be true, as the Wings escalated their physical play, pulling a move straight out of the Patrick Beverly playbook with a dive to the knees. Luckily, it didn't turn into a season-ending Westbrook-type injury, and Caitlin bounced back. On the very next play, the Wings tried to go in hard again, but this time, the refs were finally on her side.
From the logo, she is fouled. Well,
of course, she sank all, and from that moment on, it was like she had entered war mode.
Front courts. Clark circling her way through, finds an opening and banks it home.
But even with all her dominance, she still got the rookie treatment from the refs. Instead of letting it get to her, Caitlin turned on the heat on the other end.
Clark with 11 points, a deflection there.
And finally, she gave the crowd one of those deep threes they had bought their tickets for.
Clark, fire away. You bet.
Come on.
Still halfway through the second quarter, it was a neck-and-neck race for both teams, with neither side backing down. But 22 was on a whole different level, playing a game of her own. While everyone else was battling for control, she was just 4 points away from breaking the scoring record. But she seemed unbothered, not chasing the record, just focused on playing the right way.
Around the rim, McCowan does, from 2-point range.
Mitchell sidesteps Ogunbowale and buries a three.
So good.
Looking like she was just flexing on everybody, Caitlin shifted gears and went on an absolute dime rampage.
There, banks it home. Clark pushing. Mitchell backdoor lays it in.
But the Wings responded with 2 types of players. The ones who played the basketball way and the ones who played the dirty way.
Worst defensive teams in the league. 2 of the better offensive teams.
Clark at Howard. Ooh, left that one too strong, and she took quite a tumble on the way down. And a loose.
The first half was an emotional roller coaster, with swings that felt like watching a crypto chart, highs and lows at every turn. But one thing was certain through all the chaos: that rookie scoring record was about to have Caitlin's name on it.
Clark shaking off Sheldon, hits a deep two.
Drop coverage. Tight on.
But with that now in her pocket, Caitlin knew she couldn't disappoint the crowd by letting the game slip away. So she did what stars do. She turned up the heat.
Mid-range jumper.
McClark right back to Boston, who got inside position on McCowan.
But she wasn't the only one breaking records tonight.
It's all 9.
Wale hits a 3.
Way too quiet for Enrique.
Even with this historic night, Enrique wasn't the stat leader for the Wings.
And here's Satu Sabali dialing up a 3. It's her 4th.
And that's the other piece.
It was a close game, neck and neck, until the refs started tilting the scales. Every time Caitlin drove to the rim, she was met with contact but couldn't get free throws. Meanwhile, the Wings were starting to pull away.
Uzun, corner 3, knocks it down.
It felt like the game was slowly slipping, but even when the refs handed her just inbounds, Caitlin got the best out of the situation.
Mitchell, driving by Sabali. Mitchell right to the cup.
So quick.
And just when it looked like things couldn't get any worse for the Fever, 22 decided to extend her record.
Uzun trying to frustrate Clark. Oh, but Clark with 3 more. Right over the rookie.
But with Caitlin's success comes a target on her back. Maybe it's jealousy, or maybe some people just don't want to see her do well. Either way, the fouls she's been enduring, hard, borderline dirty plays, shouldn't be allowed.
Clark still able to beat everybody back to the rim, and they're going to look at this.
They got to look at this one.
Are going to swipe, and you miss.
Well, she got a piece of the ball, but she got a bigger piece of Caitlin Clark.
Even with all the headaches and bruises, Caitlin got right back up, staying composed and doing what she does best, setting up her teammates. She found Lexi Hull wide open for a perfect shot, but unfortunately, Hull missed her 3rd wide open layup of the month. At this point, you could almost make a highlight reel of these missed opportunities. So Caitlin decided to take matters into her own hands, tired of the missed calls and still getting no love from the refs. She wasn't fazed, almost looking like she went ultra instinct and said, "I'll just get the points myself."
With a shot clock down to 10. Clark shaking Howard. Clark gets to the rim.
Hips and shoulders past the defender.
And she did. Not once.
Free her up. Clark off the screen. Clark launches. Hits a 3.
But twice.
Into a ball screen.
Clark. Yes! A new career high for Caitlin Clark. And she's put the Fever up by 8.
And guess what? The Wings player, who should have been ejected long ago, pulled another cheap shot. It's like the refs never learn. The player who's filling up the stadium is the one getting pushed around with no protection. Luckily, Caitlin came out unharmed, but you could understand why the frustration of an 8-game losing streak had the Wings on edge. Still, this was never the answer. Enrique was the only one who seemed to understand that the real way to win was by simply playing basketball. When things got rough, she kept her focus and let her game do the talking. And in this 4th quarter, Enrique took over.
10th with run and a little clock. Clark back for Dantes, had it deflected. Wale with a steal. She's off to the races. Here comes Lexi Hull, and it's a foul and an and 1.
And just when the Wings thought they had the Fever figured out, a new clutch shooter joined the party, Damiris Dantas.
Sheldon hits the deck, no whistle either way. Dantes corner 3, knocks it down.
They're looking to trap.
And Jason Clark, who goes behind the back. Clark into the corner, whole extra pass. Here is Dantes, buries a 3. They're all falling here from Indy.
And just like that, the Fever overcame another hard-fought battle, with Caitlin shining in the spotlight. By her side was her trusted right hand, Kelsey Mitchell, and in the final moments, Dantas stepped up to help seal the victory. It was a total team effort, and even though the Wings threw everything at them, the Fever's resilience shone through. But the tension followed her into the next matchup against a Dirty Aces team. Caitlin Clark just faced her toughest challenge yet.
7 to down 7. The Fever had all of the energy early on. Championship medal of Las Vegas on full display, and Clark dropping a 3.
In her third matchup against the Las Vegas Aces, the team that has been a thorn in her side all season, Caitlin and the Indiana Fever were looking for that elusive win, but the Aces had other plans. Their mission? Make sure Caitlin Clark couldn't get involved.
Working inside the reverse. Owen took a big hit there on Jackie Young, and the foul does come, and for the second time here in the last minute, we have seen a heavy collision.
But from the start, the Fever didn't look like a team that had lost 2 straight. Caitlin, always one step ahead, saw the double team coming and found a wide open Lexi Hull in the corner.
Aces play second fastest, Indiana third fastest, and Lexi Hull, the league's top 3-point shooter, is now over 70% out of the break.
For the first 3 minutes, the Aces couldn't score, until Aja Wilson, the league's leading scorer, reminded everyone why she holds that title.
Here's Aja Wilson knocking down her first look.
On the other end, the Aces had a clear game plan, contained Caitlin with pure physicality. Even though they managed to slow her down, the Aces couldn't find their rhythm offensively, unless it was Wilson putting up points.
Range, where she stood for 2.
With all the defensive attention on Caitlin, her teammates found opportunities to shine.
Clark lob it up, Kelsey Mitchell wide open, and knocks down a triple.
But Wilson's mid-range was automatic. She sank her third shot in a row like she was playing horse by herself.
During that time from the three-point line.
Wilson all mid-range and all day.
Caitlin, feeling the pressure, knew she had to get on the scoreboard. She drove straight into the double team, muscling her way to the rim.
Clark got around Stokes, gets to the rim, lays it in, and a foul.
You know Caitlin Clark is going to go right.
On defense, though, Caitlin wasn't as sharp. Her defender slipped right past her, but luckily, Nalissa Smith came through to save the day.
A fun matchup as Hayes gets underneath, recovery there from Smith.
Instantly, Caitlin was on the move, pushing the ball in transition and sending a perfect bounce pass to Kelsey Mitchell for the easy bucket.
He's away with it. Clark turning on the Jets, backdoor pass, Mitchell, hit finish with a reverse.
It was a textbook fast break, and the momentum seemed to be shifting in the Fever's favor. But then Lexi Hull got a little too fired up. She tried to copy Smith's defensive heroics, but instead racked up 2 quick fouls.
Hayes on the aggressive drive, runs into Hull, and draws the foul.
The Aces quickly adjusted, shifting to their perimeter game, and just when it looked like the Fever had it figured out, Wheeler hit a clutch 3 to answer.
That high up on the college scoring charts as Wheeler buries a free.
The game was starting to feel like a game of cat and mouse. One team hitting a shot, only for the other to come right back. When Caitlin tried to join this flow with a big play ending the quarter, she got hit with a freight train of a defender. The Aces weren't letting her breathe, but in the second quarter, Caitlin finally got the chance to finish what she started.
Championship medal of Las Vegas on full display, and Clark dropping a 3.
However, it got spoiled soon after. She went up strong again, only to be met with an Oscar-worthy flop from the defender.
Open up a lane to the rim.
So Clark pushed off on the drive.
The frustration was mounting, especially with the Aces getting away with a few no calls of their own, taking advantage to pull away.
Wilson into a double team, out to Alicia Clark.
With Lexi Hull continuing her foul streak, the Fever were in trouble. It became clear that they weren't going to win this game by matching physicality. The Aces were winning the foul game and using it to their advantage.
Right up the gut, draws the foul. Mitchell 1-on-2, but does not care.
Even a glimmer of hope with the Clark-Boston connection.
Played very sparingly for the Olympic breaks. Boston to hesitation and bounces it home.
Was quickly snuffed out by yet another Aja Wilson dagger.
Meaning, she's not trying to let her get it back. Oh, they're calling jump ball on that.
And then, in came a new face off the bench for Indiana. An odd one out, rarely seen on the court.
I don't know if Leah's going to get one or not. I'm sure she is.
Here's Wallace.
With so few minutes to prove herself, it wasn't the night for Wheeler to make an impact.
Hesitation, just trying to bully her way inside, and she stepped out of bounds. No, they call it for traveling.
Meanwhile, the other Clark, Alicia Clark, was making waves for the Aces.
She does. Kick out Clark, who hits her second 3. Driving into Clark. It's Alicia Clark, 3 for 3.
Alicia Clark.
Stepping up on both ends of the floor, they were menaces on defense, while keeping the offense consistent, sinking shot after shot with ease. The Fever desperately needed a spark, and 22 delivered.
2 free throws. Clark essentially trying to run the clock down. Clark banks it up, banks it in.
Finishing the half with a brief moment of hope, but they still had a mountain to climb to turn this game around. Kelsey Mitchell took the reins to start the third quarter.
Clark, backdoor pass, Mitchell lays it in, and a foul.
Fighting her way through the Aces' scrappy defense. But the Aces were getting away with more than a few questionable plays. Some clean, some that wouldn't fly in your neighborhood pickup game. The Fever, meanwhile, were getting whistled for every little touch.
Gray being guarded by Clark, and a foul is called. Gray got a step. Clark thought she had all ball,
But even with the odds stacked against them, they clawed their way back from an 11-point deficit to make it 49-45. Thanks to Nalissa Smith's gritty play. Just when the Fever had momentum, the Aces delivered a reality check, sending Smith crashing to the floor with a block that looked more like a wrestling move than a basketball play.
Comes over Chelsea Gray. Blocking foul is the call. That was a heavy collision.
But karma struck back as Caitlin forced a tough bucket with an and one, bringing the Fever within reach again.
On Plum here. Clark leans in, draws the foul, and knocks it down.
That's what I'm saying, Erica Wheeler.
Just when you thought it reached its peak, it didn't stop there. Caitlin gets to the bucket to try a tough reverse layup, and when she lands, the defenders decided to pull a UFC-style elbow straight to the face, sending her to the ground.
Owen took a big hit there on Jackie Young, and the foul does come, and for the second time here in the last minute, we have seen a heavy collision.
So obvious, but they even had the nerve to challenge the call. This game had officially turned into more of a street fight than basketball. With all the physical play, the Aces kept hitting their shots.
Wilson's got to get a little more aggressive.
The Fever, they needed someone to step up, and Lexi Hull fought back, getting to the line and making key stops on defense.
He's driving into Hull, who sticks right with her. Very well defended there by Lexi Hull. Clark looking ahead. It is Hull, but knocked away by Alicia Clark.
But Aja Wilson was still cooking, knocking down mid-range shots with ease, like she was shooting in her own backyard.
And one.
The game became a back and forth affair, but when the refs tipped the scales, it started to slip out of the Fever's hands.
It's been choppy as Smith comes in and helps, but Gray underneath gets it to go on a foul.
I think that's offense-initiated contact right there.
A clear offensive foul by the Aces was challenged and somehow upheld, leaving Caitlin and the Fever visibly frustrated. And with 22 losing focus, it felt like the game was falling apart.
Fouls now, that was her fifth, and Colson comes away.
But right at the buzzer to end the third, Nalissa Smith delivered.
Flips it up, shot is short. Mitchell with three, Mitchell gets to the rim, too strong, there's Smith to beat the buzzer.
Giving the Fever a tiny spark of hope, the fourth quarter started with exactly what the Fever didn't need.
Mitchell back to Clark, offensive foul.
Another foul call. Luckily, Kelsey Mitchell came to the rescue with a huge three.
Catch and shoot, hits a three.
But the Aces answered right back.
20 is Mitchell, it's her third three and an answer.
Caitlin tried to respond, but Alicia Clark was there to shut it down, keeping the pressure on. It wasn't Caitlin's best night, 1 for 10 from deep. So she shifted her game, attacking the rim with force. But once again, the fouls piled up, and the Aces kept getting away with similar plays that were called against the Fever.
Nice. Clark putting on the move, strides by Gray, flips it up. It's an offensive foul. Different plays, but if you're going to call the one not jumping into the defender, it seemed like that was kind of a similar type of action.
The Fever were fighting an unbeatable battle, and with Aja Wilson dominating from mid-range, scoring 27 points without even attempting a three, the game slowly slipped away. The Fever ended the game with 19 fouls, and the timing of those calls blew their chances. Caitlin struggled to get involved, and credit to the Aces. They executed their game plan flawlessly, going 3 for 3 against the Fever this season. Now it's time for the Fever to regroup and plan their revenge for their next matchup this week. Stay tuned.